The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
Every story you love, every invention that moves you, every idea you wished was yours, all began as nothing. Just a blank page with a blinking cursor, asking a simple question. What do you see? Great ideas start on Mac. Find out more on apple.com/Mac.
Welcome back to another edition of the Disney Dish Podcast with Jim Hill. It's me, Len Testa, and this is our show for the week of Schmersday, March 7th, 2022, but it's out a little bit early. On the show today, news, and Christina and I talk about our stay on the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser. Let's get started by bringing in the man who points out that the streetlights in video games use real electricity. It's Mr. Jim Hill. Jim, how's it going?
Reasonably well, Len, but if we're going to talk about video games and electricity, I want to talk about the people who live up on Silent Hill. It's time for them to pay their light bill. Fog-ridden town. You know what they got? One light bulb.
Well, exactly. It's a 15-watt bulb. Is this an appliance light bulb? What are you guys doing? Does this come from a microwave? What are you guys doing here?
When you've got that many zombies looming, and more to the point, I don't need this place to be in New England. Did you see that it's supposedly Silent Hill is based on Centralia, Pennsylvania, but according to game lore, is located up in Maine. So one state over.
Down the street from the Jim Hill residence.
There we go.
That's not going to be creepy at night as you're driving home down a lonely country road.
Yeah, just look out on the porch and, oh, look, there's a zombie and he wants to borrow a cup of sugar. No, go away. Go away.
Blueberries, what?
But there we go. So.
And we have a special guest on the show today. It is Christina Harrison from touringplanes.com. Christina was my partner on the Galactic Starcruiser and is here with her thoughts. Welcome, Christina.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let's do a quick shout out to subscribers over at disneydish.bandcamp.com. Thanks to new subscribers Boxperson, Jess TMU, and Greg Maxwell. And longtime subscribers Cold Spot, Linbo1693, and JRM Canada. Jim, these are the folks who built the giant rotisserie barbecue for the kitchen over at Ronto Roasters in Black Spire Outpost on the planet of Batuu. So if you ever need, Jim, to barbecue 17 cows at the same time for your next outdoor picnic, these are the people that can make it happen. True story.
Quick question. Does anybody spot that poor droid that is constantly rotating the meat over the fire? You know,
I'm thinking it's got to have some heat-treated metal in there, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, if not, it's well-tempered now.
There we go.
All right, let's do the news. Folks, the Disney Dish News is brought to you by Storybook Destinations, trusted travel partner of the Disney Dish podcast. For a worry-free travel experience every time, book online at storybookdestinations.com. Jim, every show should begin with a round of self-congratulations. This one might be a little early, but let's do it anyway. The rumor is that Epcot will be testing some show changes for Harmonious. Well, the day that we're recording this, Thursday, March 3rd. Jim, might this have anything to do with the "Do you think Harmonious is worse than Illuminations" survey question we saw earlier this year?
I guess for me, what I'm fascinated is how quickly this is happening. Because I think we had talked about the timetable was, the first they wanted to get the survey results, then they had to go to management to get this cleared. Yeah. And then it was a notion of, okay, testing the summer and to have it happening, this is April, this should be March, wow, how fast can they move on this?
My sense is that, and this is just a guess, I have no special inside knowledge, that people knew that changes were going to be necessary almost the moment it was released, if not sooner. Wow. And people have been quietly working on alternative plans in the background. That's my completely uninformed guess.
Okay. Well, I'll be intrigued to hear if whoever is out there tonight, hears we don't talk about Bruno. So,
That's right. We'll see. Also, Jim, happened last week, but we didn't talk about it because it happened right after we recorded the show. But between February 25th and August 7th, 2022, there are some changes to the Genie Plus lineup. So Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Frozen Ever After, and Space Mountain are now included in Genie Plus and will not be included as an individual Lightning Lane selection. Jim, what do you make of this?
That's an interesting pushback. You have to assume that comes from upset people going to guest relations and complaining about, I bought Lightning Lane and stood in line and noticed I didn't need it.
Yeah. We had Becky Gandelin on last month, and one of the things she had done in her analysis of which Genie Plus and individual Lightning Lanes were the most valuable, part of her analysis was that these are in the bottom half of the least valuable. And the other interesting thing about that was Expedition Everest is in this group of less valuable individual Lightning Lanes. I think the only reason it wasn't included in this list, in this switch to Genie Plus, was because it's undergoing refurb right now and it's closed.
No, that's it exactly.
And I expect this, we expect other changes as Guardians of the Galaxy opens up and Tron eventually opens up. The other thing I think too, Jim, is this is a way of Disney addressing the fact that a lot of Genie Plus selections were unavailable in the second half of the day. So this is as much a capacity thing as it is a non-willingness of people to pay for these individual Lightning Lanes, right? It's a capacity game.
You're not wrong. By the way, just a quick side note about Cosmic Rewind. I want to say it was Zach Ridley who was tweeting out images from inside of Guardians of the Galaxy, the Epcot storytelling coaster. The publicity push has begun.
Yeah.
Which, if we connect it with, the corporate communications officer's accidental release of the...
Yeah. I mean, it's March, right? So people earlier this year might have been planning their spring vacations. Now might be the time that people are planning their summer vacations.
Makes sense.
So this is good timing for Disney to do that. That makes sense.
Right? I agree.
All right, Jim. Well, let's get to the main part of the show then. We welcome in again our special guest, Christina Harrison, who is my partner in the Galactic Starcruiser. And let me open up by saying thank you to everyone who sent in backstories. Because of what we learned in the past week about how the Starcruiser actually operates, we couldn't use any one story completely, but we did use parts of the stories that Troy, Kim, Brooke, and Kathleen sent in as part of our own backstory. So thank you guys for doing this. I really appreciate the effort. I clearly do not know as much about Star Wars as you guys do, and that came in really, really handy. So I appreciate what you guys did to help prepare for this thing. All right. So, Jim, let me give you some backstory on our backstory, Christina and our backstory. Right. So remember that on the Starcruiser, everything that happened in the Star Wars film is canon. It, quote, really happened as far as your hotel stay goes. You have to believe that in order for any of this to make sense, right?
Okay.
So the events in Star Wars really happened, right? Christy, you with me on this?
I can't verify that because I've never watched the whole movie.
Fair. Okay.
Yep, I'm going to go with it.
Okay. So my backstory was that I was intergalactic film star Hank Lonely, right? Which is a play on Han Solo, right?
Okay.
And that 40 years ago, Hank wrote, produced, directed, and starred in a 9-part science fiction movie series called Space Robots in Outer Space. And through an unfortunate series of coincidences, the story of space robots in outer space exactly mimicked what happened in real life in the Star Wars universe. All of the events were exactly the same. All of the characters looked exactly the same, only their names were different, right? So when the Space Robots in Outer Space films came out, everyone thought it was a documentary. No one goes to see documentaries, so nobody but Hank remembers the movies. This is all, Jim, I am like 1/10 of the way through my backstory, by the way.
Okay. There we go.
Okay. Hank was on the Halcyon to prepare the script for the 10th film in the series, which is going to be a Bollywood-style musical. Okay? So to prepare for this, I bought a Han Solo outfit, the cargo pants, the vest, the holster, everything. And because Hank is a movie star, I printed out 8x10 glossy publicity photos of me in the classic Harrison Ford pose of Han Solo. And when I signed these for fans, because I signed them on the ship, I used the tagline from the movie, "May space always be in your mind."
Folks, I'm hearing this for the first time.
First time.
Please continue. Okay.
Okay. So I also memorized short snippets of dialogue to use with the various characters that you and I knew were going to be part of the Galactic Starcruiser. For example, if someone said they'd never seen the films, I would describe the plots. And so, for example, if they said, something like, "That sounds terrible," I'd say, "Oh, so you did see the prequels," right?
Oh.
And I actually made up a very short but special song and, honest to God, a special dance in case they were needed, and they were needed, right? And then we kept Christina's backstory as simple as possible to start with. She's Hank's sister, and anytime Hank introduced himself, he also introduced Christina by saying, "And this is my sister Christina. She's my biggest fan." And Christina, your reply was supposed to be?
I have literally never seen any of your movies, which is that's not why. That was all very on brand for me.
Okay.
All right. So Chrissy picks me up. We're going to the hotel. We'll talk about the arrival process here. The interesting thing is the hotel is so new, Jim, that it doesn't show up on GPS right now. You cannot use Waze or Google Maps to get to the Starcruiser. So for now, if you're driving like in the next couple of weeks, use the road signs to get there. They're clearly marked.
Okay.
Also, this place is basically Alcatraz in terms of security. Like I am honestly surprised they didn't put a moat around it. You have to go through like 2 levels of security to get there. There is fencing everywhere. Your credentials are checked. You are not driving up to the Swan or Dolphin and parking, right? This is completely different.
Okay.
Right? Also, check-in happens as soon as you park. So it's all valet parking. As soon as you get out of the car, check-in begins and the check-in starts and the story begins. So immediately when we got there, Chrissy was handed a bag with Disney-owned iPhones preloaded with the Play Disney Parks app. We could not use our own phones. All right. So, and I think, Jim, this is because the Play Disney Parks app actually isn't ready, and they're running this on some sort of staging. And I have a very good reason for believing that, which I am not going to describe on the show.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So the important thing is, Chrissy, back me up here. The minute you arrive, you have to be in character.
Yeah.
Okay. So assume that everyone that you talk to, the valet, the check-in people, everyone, assume that every interaction you have with every cast member is being monitored on video and they can hear what you're saying. So assume that everyone that's running the game can see and hear absolutely everything you say to any cast member, and they will incorporate that into the gameplay. So here's an example, right? One of the first cast members I met was named Jen, right? And she introduced herself, and I gave her my complete backstory, the entire Hank lonely thing that I just told you. And Jen decided right then and there that her backstory, whenever she saw me, was that she was Hank's biggest fan. So every time I saw Jen, she would point to herself and say, "#1 fan," for 3 days.
Okay.
And then there was another cast member when we got on board. Chrissy, you could describe the hydrolator process, but as soon as we got on board, another cast member noticed that everyone was dressed like me, like Han Solo, right? But I gave him my backstory. So this cast member decided that there was actually a Hank Lonely fan convention on board, and they promised to make sure that nobody recognized me as Hank Lonely so I could stay focused on the script for the 10th movie. Jim, this isn't even the beginning of it. If you think that's crazy and that nobody at Disney has ever done anything for you like that, Jim, this is scratching the surface of what we're about to do. But Christy, why don't you describe the arrival process?
You know how when you think something's going to be hard, and then the first 5 minutes you're like, "Oh no, this is way worse than what I thought it was going to be." That was me. Yeah, that was me.
Because you were not up for the interaction. I decided
immediately. Len was immediately in his element.
I decided I was going to go all in. Like
I said it on Twitter. This was the most Len had ever Len.
Yeah.
Like in all of the 56 years I have known him. Whatever. This was your time to shine. This is like the equivalent of me at a White Snake concert with John Bon Jovi in my Gummy Bears t-shirt. Like that. This was the most you.
Okay.
And the thing is, it was a room full of yous.
It was people living their best lives. Like everyone. We had friends.
No.
My friends Chris and Beth did their own costumes, and they were wearing N95 masks, but they had
They're gorgeous.
they had molded plastic that to make it look like a Vader-like mask, and then had spray painted them to get an antique effect on it, like it was battle worn. Just, I mean, the costumes were so far beyond what I expected. Even knowing like the love that people show for Star Wars, this was like a Star Wars convention. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Chrissy, describe the process of getting onto the ship.
So when we dropped the car, I have a kid. So like my back seat is full of goldfish and chicken nuggets. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. You know, you should really probably pre-tip if your car looks like mine. And so I was talking to the crew member, like as a normal human, they were already in character, like wishing me good Merlin peen or whatever. And I was like, dude, okay. All right. I see how it's going to be. Let me get, I tried, but
yeah. I mean, but you were there to, I mean, you took one for the team. You were there to document the process.
Document.
Yeah, you were there to do it, right? And that's
thousands of pictures, hundreds of video, and I got to see you happier than at any time other than maybe with Laurel and Hannah.
all right.
And that's okay.
So the arrival process, it's you're in a concrete bunker. There's no other way to say it. You go down this long hallway, and then you enter the transport from ground level to the Starcruiser, which of course is orbiting in space. And if you've seen, Jim, the videos for Space 220, or if you remember the hydrolators from the Living Seas, same process. I guess excellent graphics, excellent effects the entire time. Whoever worked on the technology for the graphics and the video throughout the entire experience did an A+ 100% job. Could not be better. Very, very good. So you get on board the ship, and check-in is at 1:00. And let me just say, we got there at 12:30 and everyone was already there. Like no one observed the 1:00. And you want to be there at 1:00, right? From 1:00 to 4:00 is your time to get settled in and explore the ship. Nothing formal is scheduled until 4:00 when they go over like data pad and bridge training and stuff like that. Okay. But some of the cast is circulating between 1 and 4:00. And so this is the time to explain your character to them, right? The more you talk and the more you give them, the more they understand that you want to play an active part in anything instead of sitting on the sidelines, right? And like I said, to get the most out of this, you absolutely have to invest in your character and you have to believe the Star Wars story. Like none of this makes sense. The hotel, the cost, the effort, none of it makes sense if you're not going to actively play. Don't do it, right? So I think the first big event, Chrissy, that we did was bridge training, right? So this is a room with a massive 3 or 4 panel display of the outside of the spaceship. You are briefed on the 4 control stations. I think it's, Chrissy, weapons, shields. What were the grabber things?
It was all Space Invaders to me. I don't know.
Right.
It was really cool. It was very cool.
All right, Space Invaders, grabber thing, and then communications, right? And then they also are doing concurrently datapad orientation. A lot of the story is driven by things that happen on your phone. So you interact with characters when they're not on stage. You interact with them through the phone. It has your itinerary. It has your side quests, right? So the side quests are the things that the characters send you on when you're not part of the main story. So it might be go find X, go do Y, go meet Z, right? All of this happens through the phone. And so they give you a little bit of time to get oriented with it. And then you do the bridge training, and you keep coming back to the bridge for lots of things. So when you're there, pay attention when you do training because it's going to come up again and again. And then we've got captain's reception where, the drink is served. They welcome you with, champagne or sparkling beverages or whatever. There's a bingo game, which is literally bingo, but set to space. There are sabacc lessons, which is the card game tournament. And Chrissy, this happened in the lounge, right? What did you think of that bar?
Oh, I loved it.
What did you like about it?
I liked the atmosphere. It was quiet. I liked the drinks. None of them were strong. So if that's your thing, they're really pretty, and you get to keep a lot of the glasses.
And the bar is also in story too. So there's a couple of signature drinks. One of them is Chrissy. What was the hot one? The Mustafarian lava thing.
I think that's what it's called.
Okay. So Jim, the conceit here is that it is a strong and spicy drink. In fact, it is so strong and so spicy that the bartender, when the bartender is making it, needs to remove the secret ingredient or the main ingredient from a container vessel using tongs. So it's basically like, at the beginning of The Simpsons where Homer Simpson is carrying a tube that's glowing.
There we go.
It was that in a bar.
Oh,
and they set it down very gently in front of you, and it's what it is it's like a chili spice, and you can add as much of it to this drink as you want. Hence the name Mustafarian, fire or whatever. And correspondingly, there is a something about the size of a small garbage can that with clear windows that you can see through, and it is something that instantly chills glasses for the cold version of another drink. And so they put a martini glass inside, and instantly it is filled with freezing, nitrogen smoke or some liquid nitrogen smoke. It freezes the glass. They take it out and they pour the drink in it. It's just a spectacular effect. And again, we know how this is done, right? We know how all of this is done. But just to sit there and realize that someone storyboarded out the process of making a drink in the bar is the kind of crazy attention level to detail that you realize you're in, within the first couple hours you're on the ship.
Killer.
The other thing is this is where the sabacc station is. And it's a very small bar. I mean, Christy, I don't think the bar is the size of your living room.
Yep, it's very tiny.
It's very tiny. There are 4 seats for the electronic sabacc game, which is a card game like, let's say, blackjack or poker. You play in groups of 4. You can bet fake money on it and stuff like that. I was kind of surprised that in the entire ship there are 4 seats to play this. Right, and there every time we went in, there was always someone there. Right, every seat was filled every time we went in.
Okay.
And then, Chrissy, we did the dance lessons.
By the way, again, I did genuinely enjoy it. When that video came out, it lent your solid gold dancer,
Yes, I did pick up Danny Terrio as a follower on Twitter from that. So thank you, Danny.
There we go.
Appreciate that. Christy, what was your take?
Wait, I didn't know that. That's life-changing. Why did you not tell me that?
It was a kit. I was joking.
Oh. Okay, because I was about to log off. We'll see what's going on.
I don't know if Danny Terrio is actually still alive. I think we should all look that up.
No, he is. Don't say that.
I am. I'm crossing myself as I say it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, but you know what? More importantly, I think you guys are going to start losing survey data from your subscribers because the in-room droid is just a really fancy survey. Jim, I did the whole video for you so you could see. I know this is completely off track of what Len was talking about, but it just asks you survey questions and then you respond verbally and then it will route you to the next question like it does when you get it in your email.
So so the interesting thing about that is my understanding is the questions were designed to figure out which side you want to play, resistance or first order. Because when I interacted with it, when I touched my magic band, so we haven't talked about this. This is interesting. Then you got survey questions. I got nothing but in-story questions from it, like. For example, one of the questions was like, did you see the first order on the ship? How do you feel about that? And it's an open-ended question where I guess they're listening for keywords. And based on what you say, they might be looking for the words like, I think this is terrible, or I think this is great. And then when they recognize the keywords, it branches to another part of the story decision tree and goes from there. I never got a question about is your bed comfortable or things like that. Every question.
No, we didn't get that, but I got did you like the captain's welcome reception?
Oh, yeah.
What did you like about it? You can say things like blah, blah, blah. It was a survey.
Oh, so I didn't get any of that. I played every night before I went to bed.
Fascinating. Because
maybe.
If you think about it, that's an AI that's feeding off of how you behaved on the ship, your previous questions. I mean, the fact that, Chrissy, you've described you were documenting, you were hanging back. And the AI took that into consideration. The fact that those sorts of questions we're still trying to get a handle on who you are and what you're doing. Did you like the reception? Did you like the captain? How do you feel about this?
Let's talk a little bit about the room itself. So Chrissy, you measured the room, and it looks like it's somewhere between 170 and like 220 square feet, depending on if you include the bathroom and the shower, right?
Yeah.
And you actually measured the rectangular box itself in which everything is in the room, the bed, the bathroom, everything. And you said what? That was about just under 250 square feet?
I think that's what we said. It's tiny, but I mean, you're not there much.
It's true. I will say in day one, which began at 1 p.m., we did not go back to the room to relax until 11 p.m. So it was 10 straight hours of gameplay, only interrupted by dinner. Okay. And throughout that first day, you're interacting, like once the 1 to 4 p.m. orientation thing is done, the characters will start interacting with you. So I got pulled aside almost immediately to help one of the cast, a singer named Gaia. I had to get her luggage from one part of the ship to the other. And of course, it's not that simple because one of the pieces of luggage is missing, and now it's a mystery as to why it's missing. So you're sent to different parts of the ship to try and uncover the mystery. So, I mean, in general, the gameplay is exactly like that for 2 days, and it's constant. You go from one area of the ship to another. You are given clues. You have to figure out mysteries, and you're acquiring data. Like, you might get sent to the engineering room to pick up some schematics. Or if you're on the Resistance, you might go there to erase the data logs of certain activity that took place that the First Order might not want to see or might be interested in, right? So
I still don't know what's in the luggage, and I don't know what any of that
I think
was.
it's a MacGuffin. I don't think it's really anything. It's like the briefcase in Pulp Fiction, right? It doesn't matter what's in the briefcase as long as the briefcase is important, right?
I'm wondering if we were on the same place, because I did not have any of these experiences.
Right.
I liked playing in the engineering room, but I didn't understand why. But it was still really fun.
And again, this is the difference. I had engaged and indicated a willingness 100%. To be in story, and you had not. So that's why we got two different experiences. So the first character that I interacted with is a character named, Christy, correct me if I'm wrong here, Wraith Korn, who is Gaia's manager. And we don't know his loyalty throughout this. I mean, obviously, Jim, anyone in show business has mixed loyalties, right?
There we go. That's how I get my 10%. Please keep talking.
Exactly. What am I willing to do for a very large payday?
There we go.
So Wraith comes up to me and he does this. So I met Wraith. Another crew member is this crew member named Sammy, and he's sort of like he's the semi-comedic element. He's brand new to the ship. We don't know where his loyalties lie, and I don't think we should give spoilers here. Sammy is he's one of the central characters, but you never know, and literally until the last minute, where his loyalties lay. And the actor that did it, the cast member that did that, just incredible. He starts off as like young and naive and not knowing anything about the Resistance or the First Order, and you see his character progress hour by hour and day by day through the thing. It was just masterful. We also met the captain. We met Gaia, the singer. We met the cruise director. The cruise director is Lenka Mock, and super talented. Her job obviously is to keep the passengers entertained, but she is a loyal associate of Captain Kivon. And so, they're there basically to fight the First Order. We also pretty quickly get introduced to the First Order, who is Lieutenant Croy, and he looks like one of the classic, lieutenants in any of the Star Wars franchises. So all black with the black hat, played like a European Bond villain, and just in character the entire time. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
He's the straight guy through which every comedy line is bounced off of, right? So we did that. Constant gameplay, going through the ship. And the interesting thing is, like, the games aren't simple. Like the challenges that you're supposed to do. I'm not saying it's like an escape room that's going to take you 3 hours to do one thing, but some of the side quests took a good hour. And the other good thing is the cast members know when you're not advancing, like when you're getting frustrated or when you're stuck, and they will give you hints. And I'm not going to say what the hints are, but they'll tell you like, hey, have you checked X? Or have you asked Y about Z? And they'll give you hints to progress the story, which is really good. All right, Chrissy, we went to dinner. This was the first night. We were not at the captain's table the first night. We had standard dinner. Chrissy, what did you think of dinner the first night?
I loved it. I thought it was great.
What did they serve? Do you remember?
Steak. The thing, nobody's looking to me for a real review of this because I'm not qualified. What I am qualified to do is to give notes on an outsider's point of view. And there were a lot of us. There were several of us who were like, I'm here because my husband, in my case, my brother, my son is a huge Star Wars fan. And from that point of view, I think I can speak intelligently and say that the meals were more inclusive than every other part. In other words, I didn't feel left out at all, or,
with the food.
Yeah, exactly. Well, even the entertainment and stuff, I can appreciate a wonderful voice and a good show,
right.
And all of that was included. And then, of course, Chewie ran by us, and that was great.
Let me see if I can jog your memory then with the food that we had for dinner. We started off with the bao buns on night one, and remember that was
delicious. Yeah.
So Jim, all the food is in galactic rainbow colors, right? So there's purples, there's oranges, there's blues, there's red. I mean, deep saturated red colors, the colors that you don't see in normal life. All of the food was very good. It's not, Jico or Victoria and Albert's, but and I say this as someone who loves Boma. It was Boma quality. Boma is one of the highest rated restaurants in Walt Disney World. I would put up what we ate against Boma any given day. So we got these 3 bao buns. We got some Asian slaw. Okay. The bao buns were beef, I believe, chicken, and veggie. And the veggie was by far the tastiest. They also came with 4 different dipping sauces that ranged in flavor profiles from creamy to jalapeno spicy. So you could have, as Chrissy says, accoutrement with each of the bao buns. And from there, the second course was a bread service, a dipping bread service, which was, again, delicious. Then the third course was a combination. So it's 4 small plates. One was steak and mashed potatoes, which, Jim, I wish my mother was with me only so I could slap her to get more of this.
Okay.
Delicious steak, and the mashed potatoes were, remember, we've been running around for like 5 or 6 hours. I was exhausted. I just needed a water, a Coke, and maybe a drink and some comfort food, right, for the rest of the thing. Because I'm an introvert, and being, quote, on for 5 hours is just exhausting to me. So but the food was great. The other entree that I liked, they had an orange sesame chicken. Fried, like Chinese food, that was delicious. Oh, there was a shrimp thing, and we both thought the shrimp thing was just okay. But there was plenty of food. You could get whatever you wanted, and as much as you wanted. Like if you wanted 4 steaks instead of 1, they would bring you 4 steaks. Like you are not going to go hungry on the Starcruiser. I thought the food in general was better than I expected, and I went in knowing that. Everyone that had play tested it told me the food was one of the highlights.
Just to step back to the shrimp for a moment. Is this the bright blue shrimp?
No, next night. This is standard shrimp.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay. Cool.
So the next night we're at the captain's table and we'll do that.
Okay.
So during dinner, Gaia, the singer, comes out and does 4 or 5 numbers. And let me just say, I've seen dinner theater before, and I've seen live performances before. It's not going to win Tony Awards. Let's put it that way. But it is very, very solid for this particular environment. Gaia's performance is excellent. I don't know who they got for the singer. She can hold a tune. Not only that, but she can hold your attention. Like, she's very good at acting out the part. And that was really, really impressive to me. Like, this is not some lounge singer that you're getting, at the Holiday Inn in Topeka that they just threw some headdress on. Okay. This good singer. So that was, I think, day one. Christy, did I miss anything big from day one?
No, except I would definitely nominate her for a Tony because she was the highlight of the day, other than bridge training.
Yeah, she excellent singing. So day 2 is our morning in Batu. And so Jim, you've seen the pictures of the moving van that Disney.
Yeah. I mean, I get, it's always fascinating to me that the box truck is just like, you're inside of a themed environment, being taken from one themed environment to another.
There are no windows in the hotel. Why do we care whether there are windows in the truck?
Yeah,
right?
I just okay. So
my first impression was this is like the MCO airport monorail without windows, and I say that as someone who likes the airport. There's nothing wrong with the airport monorail, right? If we had this is Orlando Mayor Buddy Dwyer. If I'd heard that announcement, I would have been, I would have totally believed that.
It's so funny. Just this week on Twitter, somebody posted a video that they had done on that same, and they.
Oh God, really? I'm not the only one with that idea.
Well, no, but the interesting thing is they described it as the happiest/saddest monorail ride on the planet because you're happy when you're going and you're sad when you're going to your plane home.
Yeah, it's true. The one thing that surprised me, I thought the themed environment inside the truck was absolutely fine. In the process of boarding it, you never see the quote truck part itself. And by the way, there's a check-in and check-out when you're going to Batu. You have to scan your magic bands, just like getting off a regular ship, right? Like going on a port adventure, you check in and check out using your magic band. But they also give you these small metal enameled pins to wear in Batu with the symbol of the Galactic Starcruiser logo on it, so that people on planet know what you're doing. So you're not just like some crazy person running around, in character or whatever. So we get to Batu, and immediately you have side quests to do. They also give you 2 individual lightning lanes, one to ride Rise of the Resistance and one to ride Millennium Falcon. And this is a key element. You have to do every single thing in Batu. You have to do all of the side quests that you get, because if you do them all, it opens up other story elements later on in the day too. Okay. For anybody that's listening, do absolutely everything. For me, it took about 3.5 hours to do both rides, again, with Lightning Lane access, to do all of the side quests and then to eat lunch. And by the way, Jim, the interesting thing they do with lunch, and this is just a general trip planning thing, they give you a galactic credit to use, so you don't have to pay cash or use your credit card when you're eating, and it works anywhere in the park. And in fact, Christy, you used yours in Epcot because you went to Flower and Garden, right?
No, I pulled it up. Oh. It doesn't let you use it in Epcot.
Oh, I take that back then. Okay. So I could use it anywhere in the studios.
It showed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Jim, the interesting thing is the way that it refers to it is as a dining plan credit. Which tells me that the return of the Disney dining plan is already programmed into MDE.
There you go. Cool.
So I do all of the side quests. I did take a short break for lunch, and I bought 2 large sodas and drank that at ABC Commissary. And while I was there, I had an idea to add an additional story element that I hadn't thought of for my backstory. And Jim, when you're on the Rise of the Resistance, you become part of the Resistance, and you are taken on transport, which is hijacked by the First Order. Things happen, and you eventually end up crash landing in Batu. So I added this to my story element that based on what the First Order had done the night before to the crew of the Halcyon, I decided I was going to be with the Resistance. So in Batu, I decided to join the Resistance. Everything in Rise of the Resistance happens. And we end up crashing back on Black Spire. Well, in my disorientation from the crash, I ended up wandering the outskirts of Batu, beyond the border and into the remote villages.
Oh, no.
And you see where this is going, don't you, right now?
Oh, no.
And there, Jim, the path that I took, I ended up wandering around the outskirts of Black Spire Outpost. And I come to this little village that apparently is run by a chieftain who looks like a large rodent and rules this kingdom with his partner. Okay, so this is the interesting thing, right? I'm in the line for Mickey and Minnie starring in Red Carpet Dreams, right? That's the attraction I decided to visit. There's a cast member there named Lauren, Loran, who sees my pin and decides she's going to be in character as well.
Oh.
So the backstory we came up with was these are the village chieftains, the tribal elders, Mickey and Minnie Mouse, and that they are wearing their ceremonial regalia, the headdress, the fancy clothes and everything, greeting the villagers on the anniversary of their ascending to power. And so I know, right? And so Lauren and I are going back and forth in this. And by the way, there are families around me who are like, I don't know what these people are on. Like nobody has any idea what's going on, right? Okay. So they decide that. Lauren and I decide that the Mickey and Minnie are the village chieftains, that they're wearing their ceremonial regalia, and they're greeting the villagers on this and on the anniversary of their ruling. And so Lauren and I were going back and forth on whether Mickey and Minnie had ruled for 50 years in this village or 90 years. Because Walt Disney World has been only open for 50 years, but Mickey and Minnie have been around for 90, right? And so there was a debate on that. And then what we both decided was that Batuu is so far out in the spiral arm of the galaxy that time must be different depending on where you are. So I take my pictures, I get I do my pictures, and I bring them back to the ship, and I tell everyone of my adventure in the lands beyond Batuu. And so I'm walking up to like the actual cast members who are playing. I'm like, I found the strangest village outside of Black Spire. Look at, they're apparently run by a race of large rodents, and everyone riffed off that, Jim. Every single person riffed off that. It was let's put it this way. I can imagine no one saw that coming, right? That was all improv, but it became part of like my backstory, and they incorporated it into the story for a couple hours too.
Oh, wow. Okay, I love that this is this fluid, that it's like, okay, that's not even going to rock us for a moment. It's like, absolutely.
Didn't even blink on it. Okay, so we do all the side quests. We come back, and then Chrissy, you'd returned back to the hotel in time to do lightsaber training with Saja.
Yes.
And Chrissy, what did you think of do you want to describe what the lightsaber training was?
Well, I didn't. You have to describe it because I just videoed and did pictures. It was pretty awesome to see. But
okay,
that's all you.
All right. So we're in groups of. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it has capacity for 20 or 24. We were a much smaller group. I think we were no more than 15.
I'll count while you're telling about it.
And so you're organized in. Imagine 4 rows with like 6 columns each. And you're facing a large wall from which are projected simulated laser fire. And Saja, the first thing Saja does, and again, she's completely in character. Saja is one of the main characters. She's the weapons master, for the Starcruiser. She's there to teach you about not only how to use a lightsaber, but how to prepare yourself to recognize the Force and to get like your spiritual side ready for this. And she sells it. Let me tell you, like I was going in like I know this is a plastic lightsaber, and this is gonna, like to any outside observer, this is gonna look stupid, right? If you're in the story though, the cast member who plays Saja does a fantastic job, and I'm not gonna lie, Jim, I cried during it, right? Like no lie, I thought it was great. So the first part of training is they give you a hint where the laser blast is going to go, so you can position your laser, right? And we know how this works, right? If you're familiar with how video games like Duck Hunt work, where there's a light sensor in your controller that recognizes when light is emitted from your TV, like that's how games like Duck Hunt and things like that work, right? You're not shooting to the TV is actually shooting back at you, and the thing that you're holding has a light sensor that determines whether you've scored a hit, right? That's how it works. Same thing with the lightsaber. Okay. But even knowing that how it works, Jim, right? Even knowing how it works, they still pulled it off impressively. And by the way, there's a story moment there where Yoda comes in and explains the Force to you, which is, I didn't know Yoda was there. So the first time I heard Yoda, I was like,
no. Well, yeah, that's the audio, but you're not talking about
no.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So, we hear Yoda. So now we know that Yoda is part of the story, Jim. Right. Okay. So I do the lightsaber training, and again, Disney knows where you are all the time, and it knows what you've done, right? So after the lightsaber training, Saja comes up to me and says, look, I know you are on Batuu, and I know that as one of your side quests, you stole the holocron and got it on board one of the TIE transport ships, which we have now recovered and brought on board. I have a very special meeting for you that you need to go to in one of the rooms in the ship where you're going to help the Resistance. So we get there, and it's Rey in person. First time we've seen her in the entire show. Okay. And it's what, like 10 of us, Chrissy. I mean, it is small. And one of the droids is there, ST, one of the droids. The droid had previously been captured by the First Order. Rey had provided. So Rey talks about, the importance of the Force and how, basically, gives us the spiel about what the Force is and asks us to all feel it and stuff like that.
It was amazing to watch.
Only these 10 people got this experience?
It was a very tiny group. And the only reason I got it, Jim, was because Len did all the stuff. Like I didn't get the same messages as him, obviously. But and everybody, there were people at our table, at the captain's table, that did not get this experience because they didn't follow the same path. Like they didn't do all the stuff, so they didn't get all the good stuff. Jeez. It's not the same experience for everyone.
Wow.
So Rey gives us the story of the Force and how it's part of all of our lives and that we're supposed to use it for good and not evil. And she asks us if we're all going to help her. Of course, if you're in that room, how do you say no?
I have the whole video. If you can't get through this,
how do you say no to Rey? Okay, but Jim, here's what happens. Saja and Rey open the holocron, and it is a 3D projection of Yoda. That is the most incredible video technology I have ever seen. There's no scrim. There's no screen. It is just a projection of light with Yoda, and it blew my mind. Like the first 30 seconds that Yoda was talking, I don't remember because I was looking at that, and of course, how my brain works, right? I was like, how the hell are they doing this? Like, I don't understand anything of what's happening. It was amazing. So of course, you're coming out of that, you're like, okay, I would die for this cast member right now. Like if it comes down to it, like
me too. And I'm not sure who she is. Like I was like, yeah, let's do whatever you say.
We're gonna leave this room and kick some First Order ass, right?
Yeah.
Like
Tell me what to do with the thing.
But of course, Rey says don't do this now, right? So she gives us instructions and says later on tonight, I'll make my move. I need you to support me, right? So, okay. So then we go to dinner. Dinner is fabulous. We're at the captain's table. This is, Jim, where they do the blue shrimp. It was, what was it, Chrissy, 7 courses?
Yeah. All right. But you have to talk about the fact that everybody that's at the captain's table, even though it's only a few dollars more.
It's 30. Okay. So
you should totally do it if you could.
It's $5,000 to get in the door. It's $30 more for the captain's table. And this is the thing that the nickel and diming just killed me. Like, okay, so who is going to spend the $5,000? And some of these suites are $20,000. Who's going to spend $5,000 but not $5,030? Like, it should have been a lottery or a raffle or something.
The captain's table was way better and the booth and the night before and all that stuff.
It was really absolutely great. Service is excellent on it.
Man. When everybody was buying rounds, that really nice people next to you bought the Skywalker champagne, and you bought champagne
for the table. Yeah, it was, and we were all drinking and telling stories and stuff, and it was fantastic. But the interesting thing, Jim, is that the captain's table is part of the act. So Lieutenant Croy comes over and sits in the captain's seat. And gets up and says, I'm going to propose a toast to the First Order, to discipline, to strength, to crushing your enemies, yada yada, whatever. And there's people who are on board who are obviously First Order sympathizers. That's the role they're playing. But then the captain comes over, and this is where up to this point the captain had tried to remain fairly neutral, right? There were hints that the captain was, not to use a pun or anything, the captain was not on board with the First Order, right? You could tell. But this is where this is the moment, the dinner of night 2 is where everyone shows their cards. And everything plays out after that. So immediately after dinner, Christy, it was within 5 minutes. The ship alarm sounds, and we are all summoned to the atrium for the climactic battle.
Well, okay, when they start telling you, like they're going to bring you your check for all of your alcohol at the same time, and that's the only thing that you're paying for separately. All of your food is already part of your voyage, like your snacks out in the atrium, all that stuff. Like they're constantly feeding. You're constantly eating.
Yeah,
you pay for none of the food.
If you leave this and you are hungry, go to your doctor and ask about tapeworms. Like there's
there's never a bill presented to you for any food item.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just
drinks, alcohol, just alcohol, but all the regular food, exactly.
But when they come out and they say it was a pleasure to serve, like whatever they say, it was a pleasure.
It was my honor to serve you.
There you go. When they say that, you have to get up right now, and you got to go. And we'll talk about this when we get to like my observations, but like that's something to keep in mind.
All right, so I'm not going to spoil the climactic battle. You guys have seen the videos. I will say that. I think we've all seen video of Rey firing up the lightsaber that Josh D'Amaro had. It is every bit as cool in person as it looks on the video. But also, I don't know if the video shows it, Kylo Ren, okay, spoiler alert, Kylo Ren is part of the story.
It's not a spoiler. If people are spending their child's college fund, they've seen all the videos.
Yeah.
There's no spoiler. Yeah. There's no spoiler.
So, but the effect, he has, remember his lightsaber is red and it oscillates in the movies. It oscillates in real life too. The technology behind all of this is amazing. So there's a climactic battle. The resistance wins, right? And we all celebrate. And then there's a fireworks show on the bridge, which is pretty good. And those are the basic beats of the story. Again, you absolutely have to play everything. Anytime anyone asks you to do anything, anytime you have the option of doing something, do it. Because had I not done all of the quests on Batuu, I would have not learned about the holocron, and I would not have get invited to that very private, super special meeting with Rey and with Yoda. So because the people that I talked to, everyone who did the holocron thing on Batuu got the invite and no one else did.
Ooh, okay.
So absolutely do it. All right. So before Chrissy does her thing, I want to say this, like, look, it's $5,000, right? Which is a lot of money. The hotel is as a setting is excellent. I thought the mattresses were a little firm. I think the water pressure was a little bit low. And in particular, like the showers, the controls I thought were unintuitive. Like normally when you've got like a 2-lever system in a shower gym, one lever controls the temperature and the other one controls whether the water comes out of the rainforest shower head or the handheld unit or whether the water's off, right? And the advantage of that is that once you set the temperature to something you like, you never have to move that lever again, right? In the hotel, they're actually the opposite. The lever that controls the temperature actually controls whether it's on or off too, which means you constantly have to figure out where you're getting your temperature at. I would have liked to see this reversed. I also think for $5,000 for 2 nights to start, and this is my pet peeve, you should be able to ask for a specific kind of mattress. But I was actually talking with a cast member who has some influence over hotel operations in Walt Disney World. So Jim, I was speaking to somebody who works in the hotels area of Disney World. And I think that was fair feedback. I would like to see something where they have the ability to select your mattress firmness. Like I like a softer mattress with a pillow top. I like less fluffy pillows, right? For $5,000, you should be able to request the kind of mattress and the kind of pillow you want. I think that's a reasonable request at that price point. Other than that, like I have absolutely no qualms about the hotel room. Yes, it's small. I don't mind the windows, not lack of windows, none of that. I thought it was all absolutely fine. We did talk to a number of groups who were 4 adults in a standard room, and all of them said like, okay, we can do this for 2 nights, but I would not want to do a third of this. Right. So watch out for that.
Okay.
All right. The technology is interesting, but where you're spending the $5,000 is the cast members.
Okay.
Like it basically what they've trained the cast members to do is to personalize your specific Star Wars story. Like there's obviously story beats that they have to hit in the 2-day experience. But other than that, the cast members will play along with any reasonable story you come up with. And they will incorporate that in, again, using a ton of technology behind the scenes. But they will incorporate that and remember it. And the story is consistent. The story that you make up for your own Star Wars journey will be consistent from the moment you get on board to the moment you leave. And that is the true genius of the Galactic Starcruiser. It is so far beyond anything I've seen in themed entertainment. And my reference for this, Jim, was Diagon Alley, which was great. This is a hyperspace leap beyond that. It is so far beyond what anyone thinks is possible that it's I'm not doing it justice. We've talked for an hour. I have not explained everything great about it. And I'm going to stop here. Chrissy, it's your turn.
I had a few points to make. So a couple things. From a practical standpoint, when kinks that they have to work out, when they remember when we had the toast, the captain's toast?
Yes.
It was charming. And the captain is, other than maybe Rey, was my favorite character.
The captain's great. Yes, very strong female lead. Loved it.
Yeah, she's wonderful. There were a ton of spills, 5 or 6 that I counted. So you get your lemonade. It's like spicy lemonade. I'm probably not saying that right, but there are a ton of people in the atrium, and there are spills everywhere.
So, Chrissy, did you notice, by the way, what caused some of the spills?
It was guests.
Yeah, it was guests, but here's why, and because this almost happened to me, Jim. There's so much going on all around you that you actually trip over the furniture. Like you're not watching where you're going. Like the bridge is so massive, and there's so much stuff happening on the second level that if you are not explicitly watching, the white parts of the furniture will blend in with the white parts of the floor, and you miss what you're doing.
Okay.
And you'll run. Like I almost tripped like 17 times.
Okay.
While I was in there. Yeah. That's it. But again, it's because you're so immersed in the story, you're not watching what you're doing, and you spill your drink. Go ahead, Chrissy.
Well, okay, but you bring up a good point. Everybody is looking up and turning around and constantly spinning. And because of that, there were a few guests who were in the ECVs, who were in scooters.
Yeah.
And I witnessed several times where they would say, do you mind moving a little bit? They did not have a great view in general for all of those spontaneous moments. And from just a practical, overall, I would say my overall view of this is like, if I could give you this as a gift, if I had a better paying job, I would definitely give you this gift once a year, because to see you so happy is like amazing. But from a practical standpoint, they need to work that kink out. They haven't figured that out yet.
Okay, fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, they will. We were the first non-media. It was literally the first cruise. They'll figure it out.
You've nailed it, Chrissy. I mean, that's the hardware. Anybody who works in themed entertainment will tell you that you design it, and then you open it, and then the public tells you how they like to use the space, and then you have to go in
exactly,
and go and make the necessary operational adjustments. So and
that's probably a better way to say it, Jim. It's an operational. The theme and the story and the crew members are just unbelievable. The other thing is to concentrate on, or they have to work out the kinks on, is very quickly the 10 or 15 super fans, like they make Len look like me, like that's how intense they are, will very quickly be, that one kid in class that was constantly raising their hand and constantly getting attention because they're so freaking annoying. There are 10 of those or 15 of those on our cruise. And as soon as a character makes an appearance, they are all in their face. You see the monk robes flying by you, a fuzzy microphone and a camera, and they are, the equivalent of like, ooh, Mr. Carter, pick on me, It's the nerd equivalent of that, and I say that with love, but it's the 2 times that I decided I was excited, like when we came back from seeing the Yoda, like I was hype enough to get involved. They will very quickly crush the emerging spirit from your body.
Yeah, they'll crowd out the people who are maybe less assertive in.
less assertive, like less psycho. And no offense, maybe a little offense, but like it's hard to, if you're in the middle, if you are not that intense level, and Disney will figure this out because I can confirm that this is something that they were trying to observe, that they were taking notes on, because I did speak to a crew member about it when I was, last night afterwards, that was my feedback overall. It was amazing, but like you have to give other people an opportunity to work themselves in, and they'll figure it out. It's not going to be long.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say is the little people, the kids, like the ones that are able to walk around without their parents, not maybe like the pre-tweens and maybe even a little bit younger, had a better time than Len. And that is saying,
the kids are an object of focus, and rightfully so.
In
Like,
everything. In everything. I mean, they will.
They should be.
Absolutely, Jim. Like, because if your kid's happy, you're totally coming back. If your 10-year-old is happy, you have 8 more years of paying for that. Timmy doesn't need to go to college. This is what we're going to do. Like, they were happier than Len.
Yeah.
They are exceptional stars. Like, Disney, as a rule, in my experience, is wonderful at making accommodations for everything.
Yeah.
This was beyond that with food. Allergies, sensitivity, like it's not even an allergy, but like I don't want any onions on anything.
There's actually a great story. One of the friends that we met said, I don't like onions, and like on cruise ships, all of the food is basically prepared ahead of time.
Certainly. Yeah.
So and modifications aren't possible. Like I've been on Disney Cruise Line and asked things like, okay, for this tomato basil soup, can I get it without basil? And they're like, absolutely not. It's in a 70-gallon vat. We can't pull the basil out. Here, one of our friends that we had met said, I have an intolerance for onions, and so they prepared everything without onions.
They reworked the whole thing.
Yeah, reworked the whole thing. Yeah, and that, I mean, again, for $5,000, I kind of expect that, but it's just nice to know that they actually did it, right?
It was confirmed. Yeah. But there are all these little, asterisks on the menu. They'll say, if you don't want this, you can have this, and the wonderful crew members will ask you, are you okay with everything on the menu? Do you have any allergies? Of course, all Disney cast members ask you that. Do you have any allergies? Is there,
and
if you have any?
Yeah, and if you do, you can visit the Crown of Corellia, the dining room, between 1 and 4 o'clock on check-in day, and they will absolutely work with you and everything. So that's if you have an intolerance, if you have an allergy, that's the time to go and do that. And by the way, the Crown of Corellia dining room is open as soon as you get on board. So just like a regular cruise ship, where the buffet is open the minute you step foot on the ship.
Constantly eating.
You can eat 24 hours a day. In fact, I found the bed. I tried to sleep one night, Jim, in the bunk bed, and it was so uncomfortable. I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning and walked around, and there was food available in the lobby at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
Obviously, people on cruise ships love to eat. It's worth noting here also that people on cruise ships like to shop. And can you talk about the issue with the main gift shop on the boat, especially on day 3? So
the gift shop is relatively small, and obviously first cruise, first day, everyone was excited to buy merch, and some of the merch that they have is, in fact, all of the merch I believe is exclusive to the Halcyon. So you're not going to get this in Animal Kingdom, right? Okay. Long lines for the stuff. I thought it was high quality for what it was, and I hate to use this phrase, but I thought it was reasonable prices for Disney.
Oh, it was.
Yeah. I thought I waited 10 or 15 minutes.
22 minutes.
Thank you for timing that, Chrissy. To check out. But here's the interesting thing. The most desirable gift item I think that everybody talked about was the sleeping bags that come in the bunks.
Just steal it. They will charge Len, or in my case, they will charge you. Just take it. They're coming.
We did not steal it. So we tried to buy them, and then we were told, again, out of game, that Disney knew that people would want these, but they're somewhere on a ship off the coast of the United States trying to get into the port.
There we go.
And Jim is the person that was, I can't reveal who was explaining this to me, but if you've ever heard someone talk and sensed that they were physically bleeding money as they were talking, that is literally the subtext that I got. This person was calculating in their head every second of lost revenue that they were getting.
I had fistfuls of cash that I wanted to throw at them.
Yeah.
For these wonderful silky, breathable, gorgeous sleeping bags. And we know what a Star Wars fan I
They're
am.
white with gold.
Please take my money.
Yeah.
How do I get one?
Yeah, couldn't
And
buy
I
one.
don't have them.
And then Chrissy was like, "Well, I'm just going to steal one, and they'll bill Len's credit card for it."
Yeah.
Like, but then she didn't. And I mean, apparently there's a limited supply of them. I'm sure they have some in the back, right? But
I don't want to mess up somebody else's trip.
that's
But
the thing. You don't want to mess up the next person's
honestly,
trip, right? But if they
this might
don't
be
want,
the thing I go on eBay for.
yeah.
I gotta have one of those sleeping bags.
Yeah, so I made a contact, and we might be able to get one eventually. But yeah, the merch is very good, and also the main store is basically open the entire time that you're on the cruise. It closes at the end of night 2, so anything that you want, you have to buy before the end of the evening of night 2, because on the morning of day 3, which was this morning when I checked out, it was closed. And they do have a small merchandise shop back at the check-in, check-out desk back on the planet Earth, but it's nowhere near as extensive, and I would say nowhere near as sophisticated merchandise. It's basically t-shirts, keychains, pins, stuff like that.
Okay.
Oh, can we talk real quick about the practical stuff? Like I was asking about fuel rods.
Oh
There
yeah,
is
go ahead,
no
do that.
fuel
Yeah, this is great. Yeah, you did great. Diapers, talk about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, they have all that stuff. All the stuff that, all the like toiletries.
Yeah.
They have it. It's not out because it doesn't match the space theme. But if you need baby snacks and Band-Aids and Claritin, they have it. I saw it. I asked for a couple things so that I could witness it with my own eyeballs. And it's a tiny shop, but when they always say like, can you check in the back? There is a huge back. It's an enormous back.
It is. The shop is probably the size of your kitchen, but it is attached to the warehouse from Indiana Jones. That's the back, Jim.
They don't have a fuel rod machine, but if you ask a crew member, no matter what your phone, I have an iPhone, but they'll bring you a charger and a battery, and they'll just keep swapping it out for you, and there is no charge. It's part of your. Yeah, I thought that was really lovely, and they have an ATM machine.
Yeah,
and
I found the ATM. Yeah. So when I left, I added a gratuity for Jen with another signed photo that says, thanks for being my number one fan. So I left her for that last night. Yeah. All right. So Jen, the only other thing I want to talk. Chrissy, are you done, by the way?
I am.
Okay.
If you're done with
all
me.
right. So two last things. One, Jim, have we talked about on the show? Again, my brain is fried. Have we talked on the show about my dance routine?
No, I think
with the stormtroopers
in passing. But again, it's such a wonderful video. And again, I love that you referenced the birdcage. But please, dog.
So I had a song and a dance routine specifically designed for if the First Order tried to recruit me and how I was going to deflect that. And that wasn't part of my storyline because I established fairly on that I was with the Resistance. But at one point on day 2, the stormtroopers were standing around with no one near them in the back of the ship by the bridge, and I decided like I needed to practice routine. Like I would regret if I didn't get a chance to do it live, just to see what it was like. So I went up to them, and again I was trying to think of something good to do here, and my model for this was Robin Williams explaining the eclectic celebration of the dance from the movie The Birdcage, and I wrestled with this for like a week. Like how do I do this without doing exactly this, without copying it, right? And in the end, I decided, why don't I copy it? Like nobody's trying to adapt Shakespeare into to something else. It's genius the way it is. Why don't I just do very minimal rewrites of it, and adapt it for Star Wars, but basically leave it as it was. And so the big thing for me was, could I actually remember the dialogue and pull off the dance moves? So I walk up to these stormtroopers with no one around them, and I'm like, hey fellas, and I give them the story. I am Hank Lonely, a galactic film star about to produce my 10th film. And I asked them like, and I go through the whole thing. Have you seen the films? Yada, yada. I'm like, well, that's fine that you haven't seen them. Say, listen, you guys may have the head of a Q-tip, but you have the legs of a ballerina. Could you do a dance number in my next film? I'd love to cast you. And they're looking at me like, what? And I'm like, yeah, what I need you to do is an eclectic celebration of space. I need you to do adventure. I need you to do romance. I need you to do drama. I need you to do comedy. I need you to do Martha Graham, Martha Graham, Martha Graham. I need you to do Fosse and Fosse and Fosse. I need you to do Madonna, 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 but you keep it all inside.
Perfect. No, again, it's a long time
And
Birdcage fan.
I missed.
You gotta,
I missed.
They were stumped. This is the only time that I witnessed crew members being speechless.
I
They had nothing. They had nothing.
It actually stopped the cast members. And Jim, I told you a story offline about the reaction that I got from a specific cast member. I'm not going to say it on the show, but I am fairly confident, Jim, that based on what I said, the legend of Hank Lonely is now lore on the Galactic Starcruiser. All right. So one last thing, we have to do a group event on this.
Okay.
You and I could write. We'll talk about it later. I'm just putting it out there. If you are willing to do some writing, I will do a group event with you on this ship.
By the way, I don't know if you've seen. I've already settled on a character name.
Yes.
No, what is it? No.
Jim the Hutt. You know,
like Jabba's cousin.
But the interesting thing is, actually, there's a way to get away with it. If you go back to the original New Hope, they actually had a human Jabba the Hutt.
Really?
Now, mind you, he's dressed basically in a bear suit without a head. So, I will be the warmest.
That's doable, Jim.
I'll be the warmest human being in Florida, but I'm willing to do it. So,
all right. So we're doing this in December or January.
There we go. Please,
Okay.
please.
Okay. We're gonna workshop this. By the way, that was my one of my other lines. Like anytime anybody asks me, like, that's the stupidest character. As a backstory, I had in Hank Lonely's 9-part film series, Space Robots in Outer Space. The C-3PO character was played by a character named Oscar, and R2-D2 was a character named Mailbox. And there's a whole thing I riff on with Southern accents. But anytime somebody said, if anybody had said that those were stupid names or they didn't like them, my gag line for the entire thing was, well, we're still workshopping everything. So let's you and me just workshop stuff, right?
Okay.
All right. We have several months to do this. All right. So last thing before we do the closing credits, everyone wants to know, is it worth it, right? And I gave a ton of people a lot of hassle on this very topic. So let me just say this, right? So I'm a travel writer. I think it's my job to tell you how to spend your travel money to get the most out of it. Like, I firmly believe that, right? So that means that I think I should say X is a better value than Y in absolute terms, to be as clear as possible. So a ranking system, right? And I think, it's my personal opinion, right? I think that saying it's up to you to decide if it's worth it is an absolute cop-out, right? We know from the $5,000 entry price that a Starcruiser vacation costs more than 95% of Americans spend on vacation every year. And it's safe to assume that you are writing for that 95%. I know that Jeff Bezos is not reading my blog and Warren Buffett is not watching my YouTube videos, right? So I can safely ignore the richest 5% of American households. And not only that, $5,000 is practically meaningless to them in the context of a vacation, right? Another thing is I've been to 46 of the 50 United States. I've missed Nebraska, Iowa, North Dakota, and Maine. I've been to Mexico. I've been to big and small towns all over Canada, and I've spent months in Europe, right? So I have some experience with travel. Here's what I think you should do with $5,000 in travel money. If you haven't seen much of the United States, and that means Alaska, Hawaii, the Rocky Mountains, the Great Plains, the Pacific Northwest, and Palm Springs in California, right? Do that first with your $5,000 and drive. Don't fly as much as you can. And for one thing, right, driving gives you a sense of how big this country is and of the enormous natural resources that it is blessed with, right? Also, you meet people. And Jim, you know this, right? We see bad news about bad things and bad people that happen in this country every single day. But if you explore the United States, you will find good people in every town, in every state, in every part of this country. And driving around the United States and meeting those people who live there will restore your faith in America in a way that a theme park can't. That's why you need to see the United States first. And then if you haven't been to the United Kingdom and Europe, is the United Kingdom even part of Europe anymore? No, it is not. Okay. If you haven't been to the UK and you haven't been to Europe, especially Western Europe, do that next. Much of American and Canadian culture is based on stuff brought over from Western Europe. And, whereas the United States has a couple hundred years of history, Europe has a couple thousand years of history. And just like visiting the United States, when you visit Europe, you will find kind people just like here. Europe has its own way of doing things, everything from the metric system to a social safety net to strange and unique plumbing and electrical systems, right?
Yes. Yep.
So by visiting Europe, you can start to think about why they have those systems instead of ours and what they think the advantages and disadvantages might be. So maybe we can learn something from them, and maybe they can learn stuff from us, and that's what travel is about. Likewise, if your family history is from another part of the world, from Africa, from Asia, from South America, places I haven't been to yet, the North Pole, whatever, go see the homeland, and for pretty much the same reasons, right? But once you've done that, I would absolutely encourage you to spend $5,000 in the Starcruiser. It is an experience that is unlike anything else in the themed entertainment industry, and it is worth every penny. Right? That's how I think it is worth it.
Really? You haven't been to Maine yet?
I know, right? Maine.
That's what Jim got out of that. I loved it.
Well, no, I'm just thinking of my good, close personal friends at Silent Hill who'd love to see Len. You know,
right.
You know, particularly if he'll bring up 6-pack of light bulbs. All right, you know, we could finally see the town. So.
This is the comedic genius of Jim Hill that you tied back in something that we talked about an hour and 20 minutes ago, and you tie it back in at the end. That was genius, Jim. That might be the funniest thing you've done in the history of this podcast.
I'm here all week. Tip your waitresses. Okay. So, no, thank you to both you and Christy, because again, I want to stress here, you guys literally just got off. The Halcyon.
I've been off the Halcyon less than 4 hours, and I haven't slept in 2 days. I'm exhausted. I'm gonna take the rest of the day.
And you've been peopling for 3 days.
I've been peopling. Yeah, I met a ton of people. So I mean, I can't remember everyone's names, but Hope, Mark, David, Haston, everybody that I met, you guys made this experience. Todd from Los Angeles, you're in there too. Reza, met you today. Fabulous. The people that I met, I mean, they're all nerds like us, right? And they all invested in the story. It was fabulous. I loved meeting these people. I hope we all get a chance to do it again.
Killer. Well, again, thanks for doing it for again, and remember, it took some doing to actually get on the first cruise, and the fact that I remember looking at the image that you took of the empty atrium at 3 a.m. and it's like, oh dear Lord, Len Testa in his raccoon outfit walking around the inside of the.
I actually had a shiny robe again in character.
God.
All right. The show's long enough. All right, folks. That's going to do it for the Disney Dish show today. Please head on over to disneydish.bandcamp.com where you'll find exclusive shows never before heard on iTunes. You can find more of Jim at jimhillmedia.com and more of me, Len, at touringplans.com. Chrissy, where can people find you?
Same.
Okay. Crispy Lemons on the social media.
No, I'm at that. I don't need touring plans.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on, Chrissy, and thank you for doing this whole thing.
Really
it's one of the best things I think we've ever done together. It's great.
Definitely.
We're produced fabulously by Aaron Adams, who will be serving waffle-dipped chicken tenders with maple barbecue sauce and double maple cupcakes for dessert at the 15th Lunenburg Maple Festival at the Lunenburg Primary School, on Bobbin Mill Road, on Saturday, March 26th, 2022, starting at 8 a.m. While Aaron's doing that, please go on to iTunes and rate our show and tell us what you'd like to hear next. For Jim, this is Len. We'll see you on the next show.